Okay, looking at these numbers then, Raj Chengappa, particularly on unemployment, between very serious and somewhat serious, 73% have a serious worry about unemployment. This is the one area where the Modi government doesn't seem to inspire the same confidence that it does in possibly other areas where we question them.
And that's the paradox, Rajdeep, because if you see the handling of the economy, they're getting higher ratings than what they had earlier, 6 months earlier. And the fact that at any point, a government like this, when you're dealing with price rise, when you're dealing with unemployment, normally their political numbers plunge. And as we saw, that their overall majority remains stable. So what explains it? I think one is that this COVID impact that is there, let's call it the long COVID, that people have, in some senses, attributed the problems to COVID, one side. Second, you've had the Ukraine crisis that has led to inflation. So there is a ready explanation as to why some of these major problems are happening. And third, we are seeing a global recession where people are losing jobs. We're seeing techies, which India really produces in large numbers, over 100,000 or so techies have lost their jobs. So there's a general feeling that the government is trying its best. They've been able to convince themselves, or the people, that, you know, it's really international circumstances that are pushing this down. And so in some ways, one can only explain that. And third, I think, is the fact that they feel that there is, Mr. Modi and his government is making serious efforts to tackle the problem. And that, I will just make one small point, in terms of welfare, for instance, that whole Garib Kalyan program, where they're able to give free food grain. So you're seeing that impact of all the welfare schemes, as well as the relief some of the industries got, particularly small-scale industries and deferment of interest rates and everything else. So overall that, but I think the period now, after this, is going to be very critical for the government this year.
Yashwant Deshmukh, how do you explain the seeming contradiction in the two trend lines? On the same subject, one question trending upwards, the other downwards. The handling of the economy seems to have got better from the last poll to now, whereas the number of people who think the unemployment situation is very serious has gone up. So people think that the economy is being handled well, and yet unemployment is a very serious problem. How do those two contradictory impulses play out simultaneously?
I think it's not that difficult to understand, Rahul, because yes, it is contradictory in nature in a sort, but it's like a patient going to a doctor. You ask about the problem or the thing that is troubling the patient and how much pain the patient has on a 0 to 10 scale, and whether or not that patient trusts that doctor is giving the right treatment, or whether it is going in the right direction, or whether he trusts that particular doctor. So I think something of that sort is happening over here, Rahul, because the concerns, the economic concerns are there to see. In our tracker, day after day, people are worried about inflation, about unemployment, their economic crisis. The number of people who are saying that running the household has become difficult and increasingly becoming difficult, those numbers are alarmingly high. But at the same time, when you ask them if you think that government is working in the right direction, or whom do you trust, or whom do you see is in government to find a solution, they still say that yes, the government is working in the right direction, and they say yes, Narendra Modi is the person whom they would like to look out for to find a solution for these problems. So it's larger the trustworthiness of brand Modi or Narendra Modi as a person or as a leader, that people are rating him high on that particular direction, even on the economic cycle.